I'm Chef Mike Moses, and welcome to my kitchen, and welcome to Season 4. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for your support. Over 5,000 subscribers so far in just a couple of years. Now, in celebration of our 5,000th subscriber, and also because this is Season 4, and I've dumped the whites, and I'm going to go casual because what I'm going to make now is food for my home, for my family, and for you. And I thought we'd kick it off with a Halifax staple. Yes, I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and coming up, I'm going to show you how to make the original Halifax Donair. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more, please subscribe. So, the Halifax Donair, what is it? Well, it is the official snack of Halifax, Nova Scotia. And I say the official snack because back in the 70s, a Greek immigrant decided he was going to make gyros. And those are involving lamb and tzatziki, and the palate in Nova Scotia really wasn't ready for a gyro, especially the lamb. So he decided to modify the recipe a little. He used ground beef, and he made a very sweet garlicky sauce that just oozes all over the place. Anybody who has done a late night bar crawl through Halifax knows all about the Donair. For the ingredients, it's pretty simple. Here's what we need. We need a couple of pounds of ground beef. We need 2 teaspoons of ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, or 1 teaspoon depending upon your heat level, and 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. For the sauce, it's real easy. It is 1 can of condensed milk, about a 1/4 cup of white vinegar, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. The secret to making this dish is how you work the meat. And I've got 2 pounds of ground beef. It's medium ground. You can actually go lean ground if you want, but it's going to be using a blender. And what we do with this blender is basically beat the meat until it becomes stringy and holds together in a loaf. Let's get things started. First of all, we're going to use our mixer, and we're going to use the bread hook. Now, the bread hook, compared to the other hooks, just works the meat a little bit more. I'm going to take my 2 pounds of ground beef, put that in. I'm going to take 2 teaspoons of salt, my cayenne pepper, my garlic powder, some onion powder, fresh dried oregano. This came out of the garden this year. Put that on the mixer, get our bread hook in, and we're going to blend it on low for probably 4 to 5 minutes. All I want to do is get all the spices incorporated, and I want to break down the meat a little bit more with the fat. Okay, the meat's been beating away for about 5 to 6 minutes. You'll notice it no longer looks like ground beef. And now what we want to do is form this into a loaf. And the easiest way to form it into a loaf is to get your hands nice and cold so that the fat doesn't stick to you. But I just knead it like bread. And I just roll it along the cutting board. Now I'm going to make this probably about 8 inches long, 4 inches wide. You want to make sure all the air is out of it as well. There's 1 loaf of Donair meat all ready to go. Now I'm going to cover this with tin foil. All the ends, all around. Put it on a rack on the baking sheet. And the reason I put it on the rack on the baking sheet is that I want the fat to drip off. I don't want the fat to be laying on the Donair meat. Anyhow, this is going into the oven for 2 hours, 350 degrees. And once that's finished, we'll let it cool down. It has to cool down before we can cut it. I'll put it in the oven, and in a few moments, we'll get the other ingredients ready. To make the Donair sauce, there are 2 trains of thought. It's because it's sweet, it's a little bit sour, and it's got a great taste of garlic for it. One of the original recipes for the Donair sauce is to use evaporated milk, a 1/4 cup of vinegar, a 1/2 cup of sugar, and a little bit of garlic powder. And that gave you a runny Donair sauce. I like a thick Donair sauce, so I can put it right across the top and it doesn't run all over my arms and stuff. The method I'm going to use is I take a can of condensed milk, which already has the sweetness that we want. I'll put that in the bowl. I'll take a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and a 1/4 cup of vinegar. Add that in, whisk it up. As you whisk it up, it becomes a thick white sauce, and this is what gives the Donair its unique taste. There's the consistency I'm looking for. Give it a little taste. Oh, that's a Donair sauce. This is going to sit in the fridge also for probably 2.5 hours. It'll thicken up a little, but it adds that little extra zing to your Donair. And last but not least, a Donair is not a Donair without the proper fixing. The Spanish onion because of the taste and the flavor, and a beef eater tomato. So we'll just half the onion. I'm only making 2 Donairs, so I don't need a whole onion. And these are our onions all ready to go for the Donair. I'll just put that in a bowl. For the beef eater tomato, I'll take off the bottom and probably just a little about 1/4-inch slices. That should be enough for 2 people. And then you just want to 1/4-inch again. Turn it 1/4-inch. And we'll put this in the bowl as well. Things are done in such a chunky way, and the reason being is that on a Saturday night at the local Donair shop, there wasn't a lot of time to do any fine dicing, fine chopping, and mise en place had to be made ahead of time because Donairs were flying out the door as fast as they could be made. And what they usually do is make the meat in 40 pounds, put it on a spit, and roll it in front of a roaster. They would shave the meat, put it in your Donair, and away you go. By the time the spit rolled around, the meat was cooked even more. We have our onions, we have our tomatoes, and we're waiting for the beef to cook. Once it cooks, it'll cool down. So, when I come back, we will assemble our Donair. All right, the meat has cooled. It has come out of the oven. It was in the oven for 350 degrees for about 2 hours, and then I've let it cool down to room temperature, just a little bit below. Stuck it outside. It was like -7 degrees Celsius, so why not? And everything is going. The pan is heating up because now we want to reheat our meat before we actually build our Donair. So, in order to do that, I need my handy dandy knife, and I'll take the beef, and what I'll do is I'll just cut off an end so it will stand up. There. And as you can see, the Donair meat is standing up, and what I want to do is just shave off pieces. Not too thick. Put 1/8 of an inch thin. All right, I would say that's enough Donair meat for a sandwich. Now what I want to do is just throw in the frying pan, just to reheat it. I'm not doing any more cooking, I just want to reheat it. And get 2 pieces of tin foil. And you're probably saying to yourself, 2 pieces of tin foil? My gosh, why? Well, we're going to wrap it up so that all the juice and all the flavoring doesn't drip all over your hands, and it takes usually two pieces of tin foil to do that. And we'll take a small pita bread, and a lot of times you'll see that in the restaurants and stuff, they'll take the pita bread, they'll dip it in water, and then they'll steam it on both sides. You can also just microwave it. It makes it easier. Nice and soft, nice and warm. And this will actually be the first time that I've wrapped a Donair. I've unwrapped many in my life. This will be the first time that I'll wrap one. All right, so the meat's ready, and we're just going to put the meat, just lay it down in the middle. As we build our Donair. And this is a small Donair. You can get large Donairs, you can get extra meat, you can do whichever you like, whichever way you would like to have your Donair prepared. I'm just doing a traditional Halifax Donair. Then we take a little bit of Donair sauce, not a lot, just a little. We run it across, and this is the really thick Donair sauce. So I want to make sure I've got a nice layer. Then I add some Spanish onions and some tomatoes. Evenly spread out, and a little more Donair sauce. It's nice and thick, just the way I like it. So you take your Donair, fold it, take one piece of tin foil. You wrap it up like that, nice and tight. And the other piece of tin foil the same way, except this way, so that the juices, when they run out, they'll be trapped in the bottom. Now, you're probably wondering yourself, okay, what do I do? Well, you take your tin foil, peel it back, and there, ready to eat, is a classic Nova Scotia Donair. I hope you try the recipe. If you'd like to see more information on this actual recipe, I'll put it up on my blog, chefmikemoses.com. And how you eat them? Carefully, with a lot of zest and a lot of fun. That's a good donair. For more information on this recipe and more, head over to my website, www.chefmikemoses.com. You'll find I have a blog running there with the recipes that you can print off. I hope you enjoy this. I'm here to help you cook better, shop smarter, and eat healthier.